We're in our family room. It's a TV room, really. And this room, more than any other room, really proves the importance and power of the right paint color. It was 2 go-arounds, but we got it right. And it's just the coziest, most comfortable room in the house, and I wouldn't change one thing. Really quick, this room, this whole wing used to be an adult foster care community center. I don't totally understand, but when it was purchased in the 90s by a family, they kind of chopped it up into a bunch of different little rooms. So we knew when we bought it that we could totally reimagine it and lay it all out. So Archiform laid this room out to be close to the living room and the kitchen. So that way I could be cooking, the kids could be within earshot, kids can hang out here while grown-ups can hang out in the living room. It's actually a really great location in the house, and it is separated with a pocket door, so I don't have to hear them. So once that was figured out, then it became, well, okay, what's the purpose of this room? It's to watch TV. It's our family room, but we really do most of the game playing in other rooms. So this is our TV room. Now, laying out this TV room was actually so easy because it has one singular purpose. It has a TV and a sofa, and that's it, and they need to face each other. So we put the TV and the fireplace on one wall, the sofa facing it, and called it a day. It was so easy to lay out. In a room with no natural light, I like to do something on the walls, like either a wallpaper or a texture or some sort of paneling. So in this case, we did a 12-inch horizontal beadboard, and we did it throughout the house, and I love it. We took it all the way to the ceiling. Once the beadboard was in, then it was always meant to be paint grade, even though I did kind of like the look of the wood, it was always meant to be painted. So we primed it, it was like this bright white, and then I chickened out, y'all. So the original intent of this room was to be dark green and have this really cozy vibe. And I don't know, it was just renovation exhaustion, and I chickened out. And I was like, oh wait, what if we did this like really pretty purplish gray mauve instead? So at the last minute, I changed my mind. And when I walked in after it was painted, I was like, oh man, this is just not working. But I liked the color. The color itself was pretty. It's just in a room with not enough natural light, you couldn't actually see the pigment in the color. So it just looked a little flat. So I waited 6 months, I gave myself some time. I was like, y'all, you need to chill out. You need to live in this house. You need to see how you want to actually use this space. Turned out I still just wanted to watch TV in a dark, cozy den. So I went back to the drawing board and picked a new paint color. It was really hard to find the perfect dark, moody color that isn't so dark that it just reads as black, but isn't so light that it looks really like bold and bright and saturated. So this is called Stillwater by Sherwin-Williams. It is so perfect for this room. It has all these undertones that work with the other tones in the rugs and the pillows, and just everything really works well together. Thank goodness. So for the major furniture elements, what do you need? You need a big sectional, you need a coffee table, you need a rug. And so we went shopping, and Brian came with me this time, which is very fun. We found this sectional from Rejuvenation. We sat on it, we were like, oh my goodness gracious, it is so comfortable, it's huge. And the chaise part of it fits me and both children, so it's just like this awesome cuddle corner. So we had the dark walls, we had the dark sectional, and at this point I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for that monochrome vibe where everything is almost the same color, which is kind of, I've never done this before. So I went on the hunt for the perfect rug, and I mean, that's a whole thing. Obviously, there's like 1 billion beautiful rugs out there, and I wanted cozy, I wanted textural, I wanted forgiving, I wanted dog friendly, I wanted kid friendly, I wanted foot friendly. So I finally found the perfect rug. This is from NK, and it just has a lot of color variation, which does make it more forgiving. Sometimes really dark rugs can actually show a lot of dog hair and a lot of dust, but really light rugs can obviously show a lot of dirt and also dust and just like day to day. So having something that's dark but with some lighter tones in it is, I have found, the most forgiving rug. So I'm really big on like mood lighting. So I have not 1, not 2, but 4 different kinds of lighting in this room. We've got the sconces for the art. We've got the chandelier that lights up the ceiling in a really cozy, moody way. We have the overhead canned or recessed lights if we want to clean or do crafts or board games or puzzles. And then we have the lamps in case I just want to turn on a lamp and have like that nighttime coziness. If you count the fireplace, there's 5. So y'all, I really think that my next book should just be like how to create vibe, because I'm just so obsessed with making sure that the vibe of the room matches the intent of the room. So the fireplace. Now, the whole TV fireplace combination can be really tricky because sometimes the TV is so high that like you have to crank your neck to see it. So I feel like I really nailed it this time. Here's what I did. We put a stove-style fireplace on the left. We put a bench underneath, lifting it up, and therefore it's the same height as the TV. So when you're sitting, you can actually enjoy both things at the same time. And in the winter, in the Pacific Northwest, like the fireplace, even just for 15 minutes, is such a mood boost. It really does make you feel like, oh, I'm glad I'm inside and it's pouring rain outside for months, because look how lucky I am to be inside with the fire. So I love this room for that reason too. So we have these storage drawers that basically just become a catch-all for any of crafting supplies, missing puzzle pieces. It's not my proudest moment to show you guys, but I'm really glad it exists because it's a real life family storage solution. So on top of the bench, it looks a little unfinished, so I had some leftover Sunbrella fabric from a different project in this really dark navy blue. So we made this cushion that it's a nice place to sit, and it looks good. It's just like another layer that I love. So if the purpose of this room is to watch TV, I wanted a really big TV. So we got a Samsung The Frame TV, which I love. So it looks like art during the day or when we have people over, but then obviously it's a great TV when we want to watch TV. And then we added a really beautiful kind of ornate frame, it's called a bezel, on top of it to just help it look more integrated into the room, a little more old world, and disguise it even more as a piece of art when it's on TV. Decorating this room, styling it all out, was actually pretty easy and fun because from the very beginning, I was like, we're gonna have an epic seascape wall. I've been collecting these seascapes for years and they're all antique. They're all moody blues and greens. They all have like a darker frame with a little bit of a gold to it. Like they're just so well curated, to be honest. I'm obsessed with these seascapes. So I have done, no joke, 200 to 300 gallery walls in my career. I'm very comfortable doing them. I'm pretty good at doing them. I've done 200 or 300. But there's always extra nail holes, right? And in my house, I normally just go for it and I'm just like, whoops, and I just cover the nail hole with another piece of art, great. But in this room, y'all, this is wood paneling, so you can't easily patch it, you can't easily fix it with paint. So I was like, okay, Emily Henderson, you are going to get rid of all your recklessness. You're gonna be detail oriented for one day in your life. I did have help, to be totally fair. Gretchen, Emily M helped me. They're like babysitting me to make sure that I didn't put one extra nail hole in this wall. There's a whole tutorial on the blog, a step-by-step, if you too don't want to have mistaken nail holes. But y'all, first time in Bachelor history, this wall, not one mistaken nail hole. Once we had the seascapes up, then we had 2 other walls we had to fill, and I was like, man, what do we do in those walls? As you know, I collect vintage Japanese boro plaid. So it's this fabric that is really quilted together, it's distressed. It's kind of like all this like leftover fabric that just full of all these indigo blues, and it's just so pretty. So this time I decided to frame it and really honor it as a huge piece of art in this room. The colors worked well with the seascapes. The scale of it worked really well because I have all of these like little seascapes and like I have a whole gallery wall going on over here. So I didn't want another gallery wall over here. I needed to have something that was just like one powerful piece. I love this coffee table. I've had it forever. But the thing about the sectional is that when you're laying back, really lounging like you're supposed to, it's really challenging to reach your drink or your popcorn or whatever. So we ended up putting these 2 bookcases, they're from Pottery Barn, they're great, behind the sofa, like sofa tables, so then when I'm just lounging, I can just put my drink right there, my tea, my popcorn, and it just creates another surface that's way easier to access. So one thing I didn't predict after we moved in and after we painted was the summers in the Pacific Northwest. It's like living in Alaska. So it's like 10 p.m., bright sun. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit. But so when you're sitting on the sofa, it glares in your eyes because the only light source in this room comes from the west. Is that where the sun sets? Yes, comes from the west. So we had to then put in a door to the hallway and we had to put shades in on the French doors. So then it became like a true like vampire cave, even in the summers. I love this room so much. Every time I walk through it, I'm like, oh, this, you did it in this room, you did it. I don't want to change one thing. It's so comfortable, it's so cozy. It has such a clear vision and vibe. Like you know exactly how you're supposed to feel when you're in this room. And I just don't think I would change one thing. My family, we love a cozy family movie night. And believe me, we have spent so many hours in this room so far. So a huge thank you to Archiform for building this. I love it. To Rejuvenation, Sherwin-Williams, NK, Heat and Glow. We had a lot of really awesome partners in this room that helped pull it together and make it our dream family room. If you guys are into these videos, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that kind of helps the algorithm help more people see it. If you want to know where we got all of this stuff, we have everything below in the description as well as on the blog with all the photos, so head over there and check it out. Thank you very much for watching. Bye guys.